Yeah, so cross-up aerials on Falcon.
Yeah. So I got a cross up aerial on Falcon. Everything seems chill. But usually, if I'm doing a cross up aerial on Falcon, sometimes my aerial's a little higher than it usually would be. Otherwise, I'm like in his face doing pressure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I like get to the backside of a shield. I'm like, okay, cool, he can't grab me. Okay, cool, he's probably not going to nair out a shield, which are generally the two things that I'm like worried about. Um, but stomp out a shield will still kind of destroy me if I try to go for shine. If he like stomps at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
and then if he just like jumps away, or if I do an early aerial, which is what I like my habit was and still kind of is for a long time, um, he could just hold shield and then back air me out of shield or stomp me, which
Yes.
feels very bad.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I kind of feel like the world is my oyster, but at the same time, I just watch a million Falcos just cross up aerial and then spam up tilt in every situation they ever do, and I
Mm-hmm.
know it gets some hits sometimes, but it seems like maybe it'd be good there. I just don't know. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on what I should do?
Yeah. Well, one, I don't think it's that good a situation for Falco. Um,
Okay.
Two, I think that it very, very, very much depends on the timing of your aerial. And
Mm-hmm.
something that I think people forget when they watch Mango in particular is Mango does the weird thing where a lot of his cross up aerials are actually slightly delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's also deceptive because Mango doesn't actually rising aerial in a lot of spots where like it would cross up. So
Mm-hmm.
then he gets like a lot more out of it, which gives the impression that being behind Falcon is very good. Which
Yeah,
it is
that
if you
makes
have
sense.
advantage, but
Mm-hmm.
so that's the tricky part because like by Mango delaying his aerial so much, he would actually be getting hit by near out of shield in a lot of those spots.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is like I think there's this disconnect where like it's simultaneously something that's extremely dependent on the exact frame advantage you have slash the Falcons execution, but also the disconnect being that like when you watch the matchup at high level, usually because Mango is the main Falco, it looks different because he specifically just takes the risk of delaying all his aerials in that range.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, if you want to talk more in depth, I think essentially there's a couple things that can happen. One, Falcon can Rising Bear or Rising Stomp. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure, so let me check real quick. But I feel like. Well, do you know how fast Falcon back air is off the top of your head?
I don't. I want to say it's like 5 frames, but
I think it's all his aerials are slower than that.
really, even back here, huh?
I think so. I think his fastest aerial are Nair and what's it called? Up air are both 7.
Wow. What the heck?
Yeah, Falcon's got some slow ass aerials. That's part of why he's a relatively weaker character. Um, Falcon frame data threat is garbage. Yeah, back air is 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jeez.
which is more what I thought. So I'm pretty sure it's like Nair and up air are 7, back air is 10, knee is 14, and stomp is 16.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so back air to shield, if they're quick, back air plus his jump squat is a 14 frame option. So like if you
Yeah.
truly did a rising early aerial, he can pretty much back air even before you can up tilt.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So it depends exactly how early, there's a big difference between a frame 2 early aerial and a frame 5 early aerial, and like that's the degree to which we're talking because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
It depends on whether or not you get the frame perfect low aerial when you do a rising one for the frame advantage. So it's also tricky to talk about.
Yeah.
So I would look into it, but the TLDR is that you're literally working with like a nuance of like a few frame gradient, which is probably why it feels so inconsistent.
Yeah. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense
it's like
because
realizing that like Nair up tilt. So like, what do you think an early Nair on block is realistically, right? Like,
it's
it's
pretty bad.
yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm guessing that if you don't do the earliest one possible, you're working in the realm of maybe like a minus 12 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just estimating. So it's like minus
Sure.
12 into 5 frame up till 17 frames. So it's like, oh, look, if he bears instantly, he gets hit. But then sometimes it's like, well, maybe Shine would hit him if he back aired, but Stomp might pull him over the Shine. And it all
Mm-hmm.
depends on how good your timing is and how good his timing is.
Yeah.
And that's not even beginning to take into account that, like, he could do things like short hop away from you to dodge an up tilt that otherwise would have hit and then drift in and hit you. So he can do like short hop away, stomp, and then drift back in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's essentially how I feel about the situation / what I'm thinking from Falcon's side. And then if you're playing around those options at all, Falcon's other options become pretty reasonable, like instant double jump out of shield, wave dash out of shield, hold shield, all end up being pretty fine with Falcon.
Yeah.
Cool. So
okay,
that's kind of my explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't seem to me like that nuanced of a situation. Because I guess I've watched Mega do cross-up aerial, and I've watched like a bunch of Falcos. Like, for example, when I was trying to learn how to like beat None or whatever, I know that like Trillium was doing very well against None for a long time before like he retired or whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, what is Trillium doing that I'm not doing? Like, because I felt at the time that I was, I guess, better than Trillium or whatever, had a better punish game on fast fallers, whatever. And sometimes you just like cross up there, up tilt, just spam it, and I'm like, there's no way this like is that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think it's that good, like we talked about.
I don't, but I do think depending on your timing, nair to up tilt or nair to back air does stuff them stomping, which can be very good.
Is valuable for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Especially, I think that's like a lot of Falcons' like first idea when you're in that position.
But then it's funny because like nobody actually plays it well. What ends up happening is like if I only up tilt when I know it beats stomp, that's really predictable, right? But it's not like they're predicting; they're just stomping because they saw you cross them up.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
like when I'm playing Falcon, I usually just only stomp or back air when I know it beats the up tilt or shine, and then if I know that it doesn't, I just do the other option, and then I come out significantly on top when I fight most spaces with my Falcon.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Okay. Well, at least that validates me, because sometimes it just seemed like Falcon's fucked, and I'm like, well, it doesn't feel that way when I'm in that situation. So, And it felt bad because it's like, okay, I'm like locking them down with lasers. Okay, they've like landed after their double jump or whatever. Like I spaced outside of it, and then I laser them again. They're in shield. And I get a cross up aerial. They can't nair me or grab me. Like, oh shit, I'm destroying this guy. And then I would just do some sort of pressure thing. I would either shine, they'd stop me, or I'd like up tilt, they back air, and it's like, I swear I was just winning really, really hard.
I think cross up nair into dash is pretty safe and good for what it's worth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll just have to think about that situation a little bit more with the nuance of all of the frame data and all my timings too. It'd be interesting. I'll probably take a look like at my VOD and see.
Yeah, like if you find any VOD, especially if you can go frame by frame in a 60 FPS, it'd be so easy to see like exactly how it's working.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could just get better at judging like on the fly how much frame advantage you have.
True.
Yeah. I think that's pretty useful for sure.
All right, well, cool. That answers that question.
Nice.
Something that I thought would be kind of fun to do for today, since I again don't have any tournament footage, of course. Although, I don't know what the range is that they're doing, but I saw that Pound is doing an online thing.
I heard the requirement is just that you need a like Ethernet connection.
Oh wow,
which
that's
to me is too lenient, but
that is very lenient.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about entering that, so maybe that'll yield
cool.
some interesting VODs or something.
Yeah.
But I thought we could do doubles today.
Sure. That sounds fun and productive.
Awesome. Yes, I have an interesting set that I could link you that I think would be cool to look at.
Sure. What set is it?
It is, I just linked it to you in Discord. It's me and Steven against Rocky and Azel. And they knocked us out of the losers of top 8 of Genesis.
Oh, let's see it.
But yeah, Steven and I are definitely
no
static
slouches.
partners. So it's
Nice,
cool
that's sick. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's talk teams then. Do you have any impressions / have you watched this?
I haven't watched it in a while. I remember watching it when I originally did. What it felt like to me was a lot of times it was hard to like catch Rocky, and I think I spent too much time chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we didn't do enough in like the 1v1s that we would establish to like actually win. And we should have been working together more, but it felt like any time I would leave Rocky alone, it's like we're just getting hit with a bunch of lasers,
Yeah.
or he'd like run up and hit us
For sure.
pretty hard. So it was like difficult to kind of maneuver around that set of
Makes
options,
sense.
I guess.
Forget if we talked about it, but I think the general rule is that if you can 2v1 a Falco on the opposing team, you probably should.
Okay.
Just because if you don't, he will laser you.
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple rule to follow on teams. It's not like I go out of my way to do it, but it's like, hey, we have the choice, nothing's happening. I pretty much always pick the Falco.
That makes sense.
Cool. There's also probably a lot of interesting stuff with like how the foxes maneuver around lasers and stuff. I think it's pretty easy for Fox to play on platforms while you shoot the ground, or even vice versa. Easy for Fox to run on the ground while Falco just sits on the platforms. I think both are pretty easy and pretty good depending on the situation. Cool. Okay, there we go. Do you have this playing?
I do, yes.
Okay. Let's see this. Nice. Let me go back. Actually, is it fine if I stream it to you?
Yeah.
Nice. I would prefer that. My mouse has been double clicking incessantly lately, and it makes it very hard to navigate a video.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds super
It's
annoying.
it's not that old a mouse either, so it's kind of a bummer. But every time I use my circle lately, I like keep double clicking and like full screening it by accident, and then on full screening it. So let me know when you can see.
Okay. It said I got this. Okay, I'm in.
Okay. Is the quality fine / is it playing fine?
It is, yes.
Nice. Okay. So the first interesting thing that happened, in my opinion, so I thought this was all pretty good. So right here, you have like an interesting decision point where like you have Falco on the edge, but you could also fight the Fox in the middle of the stage.
Right.
Kind of up to you, and it's kind of up to Steven. So like this situation, it seems reasonable to think you'll just focus on the ledge and he'll focus on fighting Fox, but he puts himself behind Fox on the other side, which I feel like was very bad by him.
Yeah.
Because he might have messed up. Hard to say exactly how. And then, like, if Azel had come over and just hit you, you might have been fucked. Luckily, Azel was literally not looking at you. But, like, he definitely should have been. Like, I'm where Azel is, and I see this happen, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go kill the Falco.
Yeah.
So I would say be careful. Maybe that's something you guys can talk about, but just being aware of like who's in what position and what you're trying to cover together.
Yeah, definitely.
Can
I give you perspective on where my head was at?
Yeah.
So I remember we had talked a lot about how like it's really important and good if one of you covers like side platform or like people jumping above, and then the other one like covers the ground. So like when I moved up there, I was like, okay, sick. We have this like corner pressure situation. This Falco's like essentially dead. We can,
Yeah,
like,
you guys had
walk
a really
across
strong
if we have to.
position.
Yeah, so I was like, I'll just like go up here and cover high, and like either he tournament winners or like double jumps for the ledge, and then I'll back air him, or I'll just like land on the side platform. And then Steven ran away, and I was like, oh god, I gotta like get back down to the ground so I can like pressure this.
Yeah, and I kind of think you should have just stuck to what you were originally planning.
Probably, right?
Because like once you're up here, you're at least safe, and if Azel chooses to come over, you can at least flip this around on them and turn it into you're cornering them. Rocky can't really hit you up here, and also if Rocky stalls and Azel stays on the ground here, you can actually kind of hit him from here to here. Does that make sense? Like with like a short hop downer or something?
Yeah, definitely.
So I actually think that you should have just stuck to this probably, because this position gives you access to everything you need. But by being here, you end up really vulnerable. You do hit Rocky. You guys switch positions. But then I feel like Steven did a really bad edge guard. So he should have just tried to grab the edge. Yeah. I think that's probably a singles habit. He's like, oh, well, I don't want to put myself here. But like, he could have just done this differently and like let you be useful. But essentially, the way he did it made sure that you were completely useless.
Yeah.
And that's something else you have to maybe talk about. But then once you were here, I think again you might have gotten confused by his actions, but it ended up letting Rocky like laser him. So there's some discoordination here because I think you were thinking, okay, I'll just focus on covering high, which would have been a good idea if Steven did something different. But now because of that, Rocky got to laser him.
Yeah, that's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
I went to the side platform. I was like, okay, we'll do this pressure thing, and then I was like, oh shit, Rocky's just able to laser him.
Yeah,
like,
but it would have been fine. Imagine if Steven had to run off Shine or something, and then like Azel's only option is to recover high versus getting Shine spiked or Steven grabbing the edge.
Yeah, right. So like my positioning wasn't necessarily bad. It's just
it wasn't bad. It's just you have to make sure to communicate like when you're playing with him again. If you go to that position, be like, okay, well this is why I went here.
Yeah.
And I think the generalization is just that like if you're going to be there anyway, you guys might as well do something together. And he needs to realize that the way he's doing the option made you useless. And like there could be times where like that's the fine decision to like focus on the 1v1, but like you guys need to communicate clearly about that either in the past or in the moment so that you know to just ignore him and go do something else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that you don't waste your own time, because ultimately had you ignored him it actually would have gone better, but only because I think he didn't take advantage of you being there.
Right. Okay.
And I also think that's a useful team skill, is like noticing when you're not able to be useful anymore. Because once you realize like, hey, I can't really do anything here, you probably could have just like shot lasers on the ground and stopped Rocky from coming over. Does that make sense?
It does for sure.
I like how you challenge Rocky though. I think if you're comfortable, which I think you are, you should just firestall here.
Yeah, definitely comfortable doing that.
Even though switching targets did get you the hit, and you guys actually got the kill, which is super sick. I don't think you need to, because if you just firestall here, you can probably kill Rocky anyway, and if you can't, then like Steven should be able to finish it.
Right.
That's my perspective on it. But it was a very good conversion that you guys got the kill anyway. Which is sick. Let's keep going. So this was like Steven just had to cover Tekken.
Yeah.
It feels like he kind of just doesn't realize things soon enough. Like, obviously, if I showed him this, he'd be like, oh, why didn't I cover Tekken? But to me, it's like, as soon as I see the Falco knocked down, I immediately only think that my job is to hit the Tekken, and I don't even think about anything else.
Right.
And maybe, I don't know if you show him this lesson or something, if he cares enough to learn this, but it's just like the idea that, like, you can't waste any brain power worrying about whether or not your teammate covers the thing you need them to cover.
Right.
Because then you're not using the brain power to, actually do your thing. This was weird. Okay, so this looks fine. Yeah, so I think you moved forward looking at the previous situation. So I think here, you thinking, hey, I want to be over here is a great idea. But I think as soon as this happened, the relevant zone you need to protect is this kind of line.
Yeah.
Right here, because he can go like this, or he can go like that. So I think you ended up getting too close here as a result.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Which, now that I've seen enough of these situations, my major thought is that, like, your initial positioning concepts are good, but you don't adapt quickly enough to positioning changes in teams. And in a lot of spots, that's understandable because you were expecting him to do something else. But, like, this spot, I don't think what he did was great, but it certainly was a completely normal option,
Yeah, definitely.
It was like there are many ways that could play out, So he didn't do something bad either. Nice, he came back to you.
I think if I did like a half approach laser here, it would have been sick.
Yeah, I agree. Moved a little too far forward. I think you went a little too far in there also.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Right here, yeah. I know you're like, okay, I want to get into there, scramble, and help. But it's like, the best thing you can do here is just not put yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, funnily enough, like, Steven actually earned his 1v1 kill So it's like, imagine if you just done nothing, right?
Right, yeah, and I'd still be alive, and he would have still gotten the kill.
That would have been great. What happened here? Nothing. Yeah, somehow you ended up in just the worst possible spot here.
I see that. Yeah.
I think it's because you played versus Fox as if it was 1v1. Because you're thinking, okay, he's going to go under me or challenge me, and I'm going to take center. But that's not actually a good spot in teams.
Yeah, right.
So let's take a step back and figure out the position beforehand. So right... Okay, this is the position. So how are you thinking about this when you look at it? I guess we should back up a little because, Rocky was maybe... Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, so it's a little hard because I don't really have like a very effective way to like go to the top platform and be safe kind of from Fox because there's a Falco there. And then there's a Fox underneath me. Yeah, my immediate thought is like, okay, get to center. But just because I don't want to die from the Fox.
Yeah.
I guess
But you're at 0.
Shield. I am at 0.
So the number of ways you can die or take big damage is pretty limited, I think.
You're right. Yeah, definitely.
And then the other thing is that the Fox next to you is at pretty high percent.
Yeah, good point.
So that creates a couple limitations. One, Azul can't trade with you. 2, and this is the more interesting one, if Azul gives up ground control, then Steven ends up being in a very strong situation versus him. Because if Green Fox ends up not controlling the ground safely, he ends up either in the air in a situation where he doesn't have much control over the situation, it's very easy for Blue Fox to just back air him or get under him and then take control back of the situation for you guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
what options are we thinking to like have him give up ground control?
Well, so the fact that top platform, I agree you shouldn't go here immediately, but since you're at 3%, as long as you don't get up air directly for it, which I think there are ways of slowly getting from here to here without getting up aired by Green Fox, right? And if he ever tries to challenge at all, that's pretty bad for him. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
But the key is that there's no rush. Like, I'm taking kind of like a very... If I were you, I would play this really slow is how I would put it. I would sit here and think about finding a way to drop down laser if Azul backs off. I would think about running off and spacing moves. I would think about even just spamming short hop dare or instant double jump on platform, kind of like West Ballsy. Or I would think about just somehow getting out of shield and taking my time to go from here to full hopping to get over here.
Okay, yeah.
Or even if I was going to go from here to center, I would maybe short hop off, so I had the option to double jump up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And then you kind of just see how it plays out from here. So if we watch what happens, Rocky actually makes the first move here and drops down this way. So just you playing this slow immediately gives you an out. And of course, we didn't know that was going to happen, but that's why I was just kind of telling you where my long-term thinking is.
Yeah.
And let's say Rocky doesn't give you an out and he waits here. Well, then you wait here, he waits here. I wouldn't say that's particularly good for Rocky. And then the Foxes have to make the choice of 1v1ing or not, right? And if Azul runs over and 1v1s him, you're out for free and you drop through laser and that helps him. And then if Azul tries to keep fighting you, then I feel like that's not... Steven doesn't have to do anything. Because, he's at 95, you're at 3%. I feel like Falco wins that situation.
For sure, yeah.
And then there's the added bonus that you being at low percent shielding on a side platform, there's almost no way Rocky can be relevant to that situation from top. What's he going to do? Short hop off and try to hit you and maybe get shield dropped or trade with Azul trying to hit you, They'd have to have some insanely perfect timings to, attack you meaningfully while not dying to Steven.
Yeah, for sure.
So then if we look at it from that perspective, it's like, you don't need to do anything.
Right. But I do, exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah, which it's hard to know because, if I were Rocky, I wouldn't have come down, and then you being in center wouldn't have been as bad for you because Rocky wouldn't have been there. So there's, a lot going on, obviously. And you can't know all of it. But I guess that's why I would tend towards playing this situation pretty conservatively. Because it's there's no real benefit to me making a move here.
Right.
And this works out for you, but I kind of feel like if I were here, I would just, on average, spam full jump and double jump. It's really hard for them to hit you for full jumping or double jumping there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like like right here, Azul would have to like full jump up there or nair above your head, and he's at 90, so like if that goes wrong, he gets buried and dies.
Yeah, definitely.
And then even here, after you get forward thrown back and you buffer roll, like I might have just full hopped immediately.
Yeah.
Because even if Azul up smashes you, like Steven can come over and up smash him.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually that worried about getting up smashed because of the percent difference.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because Steven had a tech chase situation right here. If I'm Steven, I'm just running over and hitting Azul right now.
Yeah.
And even if he looked to the left first to think about the tech chase, he can look to the left for the tech chase, see you get up smashed, and then still run over and get it.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't even have to really be looking at you that hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So you get this up tilt down air. Yeah, I think what you did was fine there.
Yeah, I didn't think I could really meaningfully do.
Yeah, it's not worth your life.
Yeah.
I think Steven shouldn't have DI'd to the side, but
Mm-hmm.
this is fine. So let's see this. It would have been really crazy if you down aired and like the up throw DI, like he DI'd this way and you down aired here and it hit.
Yeah.
And he just died. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you should have. I just think it would have been crazy if it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. This is fine. I think lasering was bad there, but holding center was good.
Yeah, I thought so too. My head here was like, oh god, I'm having a really hard time feeling useful. So I was like, okay, well maybe I'll be useful if I shoot a laser.
The most useful thing you could do is sit there and just watch.
Yeah.
Because Azul would have double jumped and then maybe you could have jump shined him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining like PP Ryan Ford or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally right here, if you were just sitting here only focusing on this, you probably would have shined him.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's scary to look at because you're like, oh no, what if my teammate dies? But I don't know, if your teammate dies from getting shined right here, I feel like that's kind of like, Fox doesn't die from getting shined here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I like that you went to the platforms. If anything, I think you could have gone to the platforms earlier. I think you were taking time to figure out, like, how do I be useful? And then you were like, wait, I can just go to the platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely think you could have just gone up there. Funnily enough, it also would have led to you potentially hitting Azul. Because he was uncomfortable here with the lasers behind him and just jumped up here. And if you'd just already been there, then you're actually cutting that space off for him.
True.
But eventually you're like, okay, I get it. I'll go to the platform. Works out great. Unfortunate miss, but
yeah,
it happens. Yeah, so this happens.
This is potentially another situation where I could have just jumped.
Yeah, I think here specifically you should have dashed. Okay, you did dash. Oh, but then you tried to hit him.
Okay.
So then we can talk about that, right? Risk reward in singles, you're like, okay, if I get this outplay, great. If he double jumps away, not that big a deal. It's just a bear on my shield.
Mm-hmm.
And doubles, that situation is terrible.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, right? Like, I guess, like, here you play it more conservatively instead of taking that risk, and then nothing bad happens to you. Because what you would do is you dash back, you position around Azul being here, Azul double jumps up, and then, you know, you guys are fine. It would be Steven here, you here, Azul here, Rocket whiffing that, and you guys are chilling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. That's another good spot to jump.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. Kind of similar thing, right? Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. Kind of similar thing of just like putting yourself into the mess.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep. Nice. Oh, you probably had to turn around laser sooner.
Yeah, I didn't know if I could actually stop that. He was invincible almost the whole time. So I was like, my brain was scrambling so hard. You see me dash dancing?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, God, can I help?
He's literally invincible. How did this... This should not have happened like this, though. Oh, he double jumped side B. He probably just wasn't thinking about Rocky at all. Because I was like, he shouldn't not have his jump. Like, there's no reason for Steven to not grab the ledge there. Like, that's something very important that, like you get shined here. There's no risk to going low and grabbing edge, right?
Right.
The more I look at it, the more I was like, this side B doesn't really make sense. What you guys could do, though, is Steven can go straight up and you can just shoot him.
Yeah.
So he should go straight up here and you should just drop through laser and then either hit Rocky so that he can't edge hog him, or laser here so that it hits him straight up here.
I could do like short hop laser, fast fall laser even.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is probably how you guys live that situation.
I think what I did in response was kind of fine.
Yeah, I thought this was good.
Okay.
Not sure about the F smash. I'm trying to think about it. It's hard to say because like. I'm so scared of you getting shined by Azel here.
Yeah.
I don't think the F smash is worth it.
Right.
I do think the easiest thing to do is forward throw, and then the threat of it makes Azel come over, and then you just like jump up here, and then Azel puts himself in the corner, and you guys just use Steven's invincibility to keep them cornered.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's probably the easiest way to play it. That's good because I definitely think he could have done like a push off shine. And then.
Yeah, I definitely can see myself dying there.
Oh, that was awkward. I think, funnily enough, if you down-aired just to hit Azel, the hit lag of hitting Azel would have let you hit Rocky also.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. But you realized it too late. It's kind of a weird situation. I actually think a lot of the things going wrong for you are probably just that you need to play more teams, because you're recognizing situations just like a little too slowly. And then what'll happen is like you'll get put in an awkward spot like this, like you didn't want to drop through, but you missed your L cancel, and then you're like, I'll still drop through, and then you got hit. But like that, this wouldn't happen to you in singles, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I just feel like I want to get involved so that I can be useful all the time. But
yeah, and ironically, it ends up with you not being useful a lot of the times.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me see this again.
This was a tricky spot to try and get a combo, I feel.
Yeah.
I don't think Downer was a good choice, but I was just like, I have to hit him.
I think. Yeah, this was very strange. Something about this. Here, let me pretend. I need to pretend I'm Steven real quick. Oh, I think Steven can just instead of sending him back to you, he should just send him to the side platform.
Okay.
So like he can jump up air or jump nair, and it'll just knock him over most likely. He might slide off, but if he slides off, that's not that big a deal because you guys can pressure him on the ledge. I think the team's combo is actually a bait here.
Yeah, that's funny.
Unless you did something better. Like you could have
thinking.
Oh no! You should have wave landed. Okay, wait, no, that makes way more sense.
Are you okay? So my brain was like, okay, well, since Steven's to the left of me, I'm gonna get the shine and just hard cover DI to the right, which would be like double jump.
But I think if you wave land, you cover the same. You're able to cover it too.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, so I see. So I was thinking once I saw you double jump away, if I were Steven, I would have given up on the team's combo. But what should have happened is you should have wave landed on, and then when Steven hits his back air, you can short hop off with like a nair.
Yeah.
Or like a shine or something.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, but I originally...
You were like, I'll just cover it. But since he's on the other side, the wave land does the same thing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Oh. Yep.
I did not choose a good...
Yeah, this one's awkward. So I think what you do here is if you want to... I think the best thing is probably just to fight Rocky, honestly.
Yeah, it's just the allure of having Fox off stage.
I will say some percentage of the times what I'll do, especially if my teammate's in a good spot, I would just jump off and try to down air as high up B right now. Like down air this. Because you're at 120 anyway, and if you guys hit that, you're fine. I don't think... I don't know if here Steven was in a good enough situation to
I
warn
didn't think he was.
Yeah, so since he's not, you just, what's it called? You just fight Rocky.
Yeah, that definitely went into my decision making too, because I backed a forward tilt and I see like my partner cannot help me or protect me.
Yeah, so given that he
off.
can't protect you, I think you just go over.
Yeah, okay. Oh, not the best.
Wait, this was weird. I think you got scared of hitting Steven, but...
I did, yeah.
Again, he chose, like, such a weird option. Because, like, if he's here, this is such a good spot. You do not need to, like, F-smash there.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the thing is, he was, like, tunneled on the, like, oh, they're both off stage. If I just hit one of them, surely we can win. But to me, this is, like, you're respawning. So as long as he, like, holds this position, there's no way it goes badly. Like, all he has to do is back air Azul's up B, and you guys are guaranteed to be in a good spot after.
Yeah, true.
But again, it's like the greed / the allure of like, oh, what if, you know, this somehow, I don't know, Azul goes straight, and like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like, it feels like it could maybe somehow happen. But him playing that poorly hurt you guys, because then he gets hit, and then he techs in, which he also shouldn't have done, but by teching in, it made you not want to do the combo.
Right.
So he should tech in place here, but he doesn't want to because Azul's there also, so I don't know. It's just, all of this just shouldn't have been this way.
It just shouldn't have necessarily
Yeah, I understand why he teched in now because of Azul, but then it's just like,
yeah.
But this is all the more reason to show why it didn't need to be this way.
Yeah, and like that could have been match. I mean, it would.
Yeah, you guys would have won the match.
Yeah,
already.
Yeah. Okay, nice. We got a kill.
Let me go back actually, because there's one more thing I want to think about. If he tech rolls in, even then, I feel like it should still work out fine. Because if he holds shield here, oh, his tech roll got hit. Interesting. Okay, never mind. This is just all bad. That could not have been more awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's a good back air. Ooh, don't go down there.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
you're at 7.
Falco,
you need to control this. You need to get them to be in the bad spot at the end of this. And instead, you're in the bad spot. Oh, and then you switch. I actually don't know if switching targets was actually worth it there.
I just didn't want Steven to die.
Yeah, that's fair, but I think you might have had a potential kill. If you just...
Yeah.
Because I think if you shined, you probably would have down-aired him off the side. Like, if I roll there and I see him neutral get up, I shine, and then 99% chance he dies. Because most people just... The way they end up DIing there and the angle lets me get a down-air.
Sure, yeah.
And I think it was good to be thinking about your teammate, but you had a surprisingly juicy situation.
I did,
Yeah, and again, it's hard to make those calls, but...
Yeah. God dang it, Rocky. Let me save my teammate, jerk.
Yeah, he's good at teams. Let me see this. Okay. Yeah, let me go back a step. The easiest thing to do is just to full jump over him.
Yeah.
So you do short hop, laser, dash, full hop, and then he'll try to stop you from hitting, and you just go past him. Does that make sense?
I could have even lasered Steven on the way up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could do dash, full jump, laser to top platform, and like just ignore Rocky there. It's kind of a bait to try to hit him. Oh, that went well, but I think you should have hit Rocky first. So after you landed this, you probably should have dashed and either attacked Rocky or lasered him, and made him do something that made sure he couldn't laser, and then you could have picked which one you went to.
That makes sense. So instead of lasering out, I should have lasered.
Yeah, probably like dash laser to the right, and then Rocky techs in place, you shine him. Or he techs to the edge, and then it's a mix-up for a kill, right?
Sure. I was thinking, well, like, what if the Fox side B's here? I have to be here so I can close out the edge guard.
Yeah, but there's just no... If he's side B's, I feel like there's no way you cover that in time without getting lasered, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Again, if it were just, like, not Falco... I'm actually surprised you even got the back air. Like, I think that if they played this right, you don't even get this back air.
Yeah.
But I think Rocky did useless lasers. So, like, after he did these, he should have just lasered you more instead of drop through lasering.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't looking, I think. I think he was just like, oh my god, I gotta spam lasers so that my teammate doesn't die.
Yep.
Yeah. So then you outplay him. Oh, if you jump shined.
No!
Oh, but then you missed it. Back up makes sense too, because then that's all you need to finish the edge guard. But also, like, maybe Azel could have just gone to ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Azel could have done it. It was a hard angle, though. Oh, dang, that hit
I'm
you.
doing so much stuff.
Yeah, there's so many weird things that happen there.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're dead.
Huh!
Yeah. I think that was a pretty awkward game for a lot of reasons. But I think we had some pretty good takeaways for you. Ultimately.
For sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I think what you said about, like, I need to play more teams because my recognition of certain things is, like, I recognize it, but I recognize it too late.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. It is interesting to me, though. I don't know if you remember our last teams lesson, but I feel like I at least took a lot of it away. Like,
Yeah,
I took a lot away from
this
that
looked
lesson.
better. There were many more times where what you did made sense to me this time.
Yeah, I thought so too, which was cool to see, but also like lots to improve on, which feels nice. God,
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's so weird with teams because I feel like I can justify certain things in my mind, like, oh yeah, that target switch was good because like I didn't want Steven to die, and you're like, yeah, but you could have killed him. It's like, oh my god, weighing that in the moment's so hard.
Yeah, it's so hard, and I think there's just some level of like, just extremely high amount of experience required to like weigh that.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't played teams for like 10 years straight, then there's no way you can make the right call there. But then I guess the other thing to me is that it actually takes you a long time to get over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if so this is the weird part, but bear with me. So if Steven could have died, he would have died before you got there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then if he gets hit in a way where he doesn't immediately die and you have time to save him, then that means you have time to laser and it would be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
There's no situation, I think, where you going over there directly saves him because he's either, like I said, he's either dead already or lasers would save him afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's because of that, I think, like, it's actually just a complete bait for you to, like, try to save him there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like the necessary sacrifice. It's like, all right, if you're dead, you're dead. Like, imagine if he died differently and that downer would have killed him, right? Then, like, you would have never got there.
True.
But then he DI'd to not die to downer, so it's like, great. So now, you know. And that's something you have to weigh, like, on a matchup by matchup basis, which is one of the hardest parts of teams that nobody talks about, is, like, understanding, like you have to understand what can happen in Falco Fox on the other side, while also knowing what can happen on your side, which, admittedly, both sides is Falco Fox right now, but it's obviously not always that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that Falco has more of an incentive to get involved in the fight or like be proactive when his teammate is a Sheik as opposed to when his teammate is a Fox?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like that was big for me because I've primarily teamed with Sheiks essentially my entire
Yeah, you teamed with Beach for like the longest time, right?
Team with Beach, and then I team with Face Roll, and then I team with Spark, then I team with Face Roll again. It's like a lot of the time when I was ever taking doubles like seriously, it was with a Sheik.
Yeah,
and
when that happens, you definitely need to carry more.
That's what it seems like. So I'm like, I feel like that was some sort of influence on even these matches where it's like, okay, well, like my teammate's in a halfway decent, okay-ish spot. Like if I get involved, maybe I can save the day. But it's like I should have just trusted. Okay, Fox is really good on the ground. If my opponent Fox jumps at me, then my opponent or my teammate can just hit him immediately.
Yeah, because you have Fox on your team, which is broken.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that I need to think about that a little bit more and play a little bit more conservatively at least.
Yeah. And on top of that, I also think that one thing that I like about watching you team with Steven is that Steven consistently wins pretty meaningful 1v1 interactions against every team I've watched you guys fight.
Yeah.
So to me, that also inspires confidence. Like I'm
Definitely.
rarely watching and thinking, oh man, if I leave him alone, he's going to die. The only real objection I have watching him is like he misses a lot of team stuff, but like especially from my perspective, I would feel super comfortable playing conservatively with him compared to if someone was like worse and I was like, man, like I have to do something to stop them from dying, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's part of it too, because that was like how I played with Beach.
Yeah, but like I mean, Steven's really good. I mean, against every team I've watched you guys fight, he's held his own perfectly fine. So
yeah, especially like we played against Mango Lucky, and it was like super. He was just like whooping on like either Mango or Lucky. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like,
yeah. So just take advantage of that and play your position, and I think it'll generally go much better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. That was a pretty interesting game. Let's watch.
I thought so too.
Yeah. Okay. FD.
Now don't be confused. I'm wearing the Magi tag now.
That's cool. Okay, you get the hit. Nice. Okay, so F smash.
I thought it looked good there, and it ended up not being good.
Well, so again, the trap is I look at this and I don't even think how can I hit them. I immediately think, okay, I got a quick 40 on Fox. Rocky's between us. If I just space back air and laser, we just win this situation for free.
Sure.
Like my brain instantly, as soon as I see the sandwich, just thinks turn around and space short hop late back air. And then what would have happened most likely is you would have actually hit Rocky, funnily enough, in the time it took to set up the back air. And then it would have hit him into his up smash.
Yeah.
And again, I literally had no clue that's how it was going to play out. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that, like, if you pick good teams things, it will work out. That's just, like, how teams is.
It's like kind of how we talked about how you don't, like, want to be in the scramble a lot of the time in singles. But being good at scrambles is, like, a valuable skill. So it's like, here we are in this situation, like we're sort of in this team scramble, like what's the good option to like do?
Yeah, for sure. And if you just know the good option, which is just, I mean, again, you're actually not the one in the scramble, which is the great part.
Right.
You are in the perfect position to be in safe while also assisting, right? And the default for that with Falco is pretty much always just space a back air. Especially a late back air. And it would have hit Rocky into that up smash, and then you might have even gotten like an F smash off that to the left.
Yeah.
I think you should have running shine there.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that could have been.
Because it'll send him towards Steven.
Can we look at it just in real time?
Yeah, well, I'm not slowing it down, so I don't know if it's like lagging or something.
No. Yeah, just you pause.
Oh, sorry.
And it just looked almost tricky whether or not I'd be able to.
You might not be able to. To be fair, you might not get a true running shine, but this might be bad of me. But in my experience, like nobody does anything to not get running shine there.
Sure. Yeah.
I've never played someone especially in a team setting, who wouldn't get running shine there. But I agree, running shine might not have true comboed.
Yeah, it just looked a little tricky.
Yeah, it was very close whether or not it true comboed. Oh.
Avery, hello?
I think that's like the third time I've seen you miss something you wouldn't miss in singles, so I definitely think you get distracted by other things happening.
I do, yeah.
Like, I definitely think Azul flying across the screen, or like the screen being stretched and then something maybe happening, definitely distracted you briefly.
For sure, yeah.
And that's another thing. If you have a task you want to accomplish, you have to just stop looking at everything else a lot of the times.
Yeah, so here, what I really think my brain was doing was I like hit him off stage, and my brain is trying to evaluate, okay, do I need to go over and help Steven right now?
Yeah.
Or is he winning his situation? Oh, good, he's winning his situation. I'm going to try to close out this stock. But, like, I spent that brain power thinking about Steven and, like, whether or not he's okay. Do I have to shoot a laser in that direction, or can I do this edge guard?
Yeah. So
there's singles, it would be like, okay, well, time to execute.
Yeah, but there's a very easy way to judge this, which is right here. You already know it's a good situation for Steven from here onwards.
That's true. Yeah.
Because if this doesn't end as a good situation, that's his fault, not your fault.
True.
Like, if he runs over and gets back throw shined, that's literally not your fault, and I don't think it was on you to, like, have your attention there.
Yeah. I guess I don't... I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, essentially, I knew the situation was good early enough that I was comfortable not thinking about it anymore. Also, though, there's just no reason to mess up your task looking at something else, because that helps nobody.
For sure, yeah. I don't think that like my mess up in execution was good.
Yeah, of course.
Or justifiable. It's just
Yeah, but I just want to remind you that like it's a trap in teams to ever think like the most useful thing you can do is not mess up what you're trying to do. Like always. Oh, that's.
Oh, I tried to turn around laser.
Yeah,
Would have been good.
for sure. Oh, why was he up there?
I think he thought he could interrupt with a back air.
Yeah, never try to interrupt a Falco combo. The only thing that will come of it is you also getting comboed.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
From
the most useful thing he could have done was just hit Azel for messing up his ledge dash.
Yeah, true.
Like literally, that's the most useful thing there. Nice.
Nice. Steven did a pretty good job of
Yeah, I like that.
comboing and staying safe.
I was really surprised you didn't shine after your down air.
Yeah.
The down smash was cool too, and I think it should have led to a kill if you didn't mess up. But I was just surprised because I feel like shine is very easy.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Down smash was cool.
No, Steven.
I guess the reason I was surprised partially is because it makes me wonder where your brain is at or like what you're thinking about. Because like for you to decide to down smash there isn't a bad idea, but to me that's just so far from what I'm thinking about in that moment, if that makes sense. Like right here, I'm focused on shining and then just like seeing if I have to, because like Steven could have died also.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here, my brain is like, okay, I down air. Oh, he DI'd here. I'm going to shine, look over here, and then make the call on whether to kill Rocky. Like, I need time, I guess. And, like, shine gives me time.
Yeah, that's so funny that my brain worked almost the opposite there.
Yeah.
I saw that Steven was getting hit, and I was like, I need to get this over with as soon as possible and try to get the stock. So then I can, like, I close this out, easy peasy down smash, and then I'll go help Steven.
Yeah, but down smash putting you in more lag makes that harder.
Right.
And the reason it surprised me is because, like, I feel like you have to go through some extra steps to decide to down smash. So it was weird to me, mostly because shine is both the easy decision and the decision that, like, is easy. It's easy to make, as in you don't have to think about it much because it's kind of the basic choice. But also it's easy in the sense that it makes it easiest on you to decide what to do next.
True, yeah.
Because you leave yourself open.
Right.
Yeah. So that was more like, again, I actually think down smash was great. It was more just like the fact that you're thinking about that kind of worried me because I'm like, man, like you're making life hard on yourself.
No. Nice, Steven.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He always picks up. He gets the kills. Like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
He's got to be careful grabbing. Anytime you guys have like a sandwich, grab is always like kind of risky. There are many weird ways it can play out. That was good. You had the right idea, but not the best way of executing it. To back off here, like wave dash back shine, short hop delayed back air. Maybe you thought he was closer than he was? I don't know.
Let me see. Yeah, I think I thought he was going to keep drifting forward longer, I think. I think he could have went farther, right? That's what it seemed like.
He definitely could have. But I feel like AC Bear was probably worse than just like wave dash shine or like late back air.
For sure.
Oh, same situation.
I do the exact same thing.
Oh, good choice though.
Thank you.
Okay. That was good. So you just gotta block the lasers there.
Yeah.
I think you choosing to jump right here was bad, so I would have just stayed on the ground.
Yep, I agree.
That was good. Oh, Steven dropped. Crazy.
Oh, that would have been so sick.
Sorry. No, I was like, I was not looking at it. Oh, I think you could have fared maybe.
Yeah. I double lasered him out of the air. Steven runs under.
Yeah. That would have been sick.
Oh, God. Sorry.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah. But at least I think we win this match.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you guys don't win. You went too far in. That's funny.
Oh, God, yeah, you're right.
Also, there's just no point grabbing here. Like,
I agree.
You can just sit in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many spots where you can sit there and do nothing. This is funny. Okay, great.
Oh, forward air would have been good.
Okay. That's funny. I usually laser here. I feel like it makes my life easier, but...
Makes sense.
Yeah. This is very amusing. Oh. He should have let you F smash.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that stall was perfect for you to just F smash everything.
That's true. You can see us laughing at the player.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay, hold up. So he sees this up B. He should stall one more time just like last time and do the... Like, what he did last time was actually perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then you F smash and then watch it again. Because you guys had the setup.
Yeah.
Or he can just fire stall, right? Like, he doesn't have to do anything crazy. Okay, cool. So, I feel like at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is still the same thing, which is just that you need to value being safe on the outside more, I think. If you want to get better at this, I highly recommend you just watch either Pew Pew play Marth or me play Sheik. I don't even think you have to watch Falco. I think just like seeing someone be on the outside and be like in control and safe will be like, it'll be very clear how powerful that is.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably. I feel like it's my deep. Maybe it's just because I don't tend to play the carry role, but I've played it as Fox before, and it's still the same thing. It's just like whoever's on the outside and safe is like always the one who's going to come out on top of the team's match. I feel like. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
You're just in such a powerful position when you're there. Outside of that, though, I definitely thought this was way better.
Yeah, I'm glad that you thought so. I talked with Steven a lot about it. It's so funny. Like, this was our first tournament teaming together. And I, like, we had a lesson about doubles because I was really excited to team with Steven. And I, like, talked to him about all these concepts. And initially, we were doing so poorly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we started doing better, and then a little bit better, then a little bit better, then a little bit better, which was cool. And then we ended up winning Hold That L, the other.
Yeah, which is sick.
So that was cool.
Also, I want to point out that, like, just by you guys winning some 1v1s and not doing anything too bad, you guys actually won that game pretty easily. And again, I think you should remember, like, you guys are going to be better individually than almost every team you fight.
Right.
And I think that that's pretty powerful. It's, like, very broken, in my opinion. And I say this as someone who, like, my team's individual skill is almost always lower than the other team's individual skill. So, like, the idea in my mind of, like, teaming with someone where our individual skill is higher just sounds so sick.
Right.
And I think, like, you should not underestimate that. It's like if Armada's teaming with Android all the time, and then suddenly he gets to team with, like, Mango. It's like, oh, wow, this whole new world opens up, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
you
really
should
don't think
definitely
I'm
take
useful.
advantage of that.
Yeah. It's almost like I don't know how to use the power that I have. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like, you guys won that game very easily. I don't think they played super great, admittedly, but it's also like, yeah, that really shows, like, you really didn't have to do anything crazy to win the game.
Right.
And then that shows because you look back at game one, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you just played it more solid teams-wise and just let the 1v1s win themselves, and then just didn't take big risks, like, you guys probably would have won game one, too.
True. It's funny to me because, like, that one situation you pointed out where, like, Falco's flying across the stage, or maybe it was Fox, and you were like, I already knew that was, like, a good situation.
Yeah.
Like, because it's pretty obvious. It's like, to me, and nothing against Beach, I love the guy, but, like, he would have found a way to mess that up.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm very familiar with this. I mean, teaming with people worse than me. It happens all the time. But you just have to, play it, and then when they fuck it up, just turn to them and be like, okay, look, you're in center at 0. They're at 100 on the ledge. I'm hitting the other guy. no matter what read you have, the read is not worth like you have to be like 99% sure to be worth like losing us this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to tell them that. And then they have to die and feel bad about how they died for no reason like 10 times. And then eventually they'll be like, okay, I get it, you know?
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I just, like, Beach and I were able to beat good people. And part of it is because I was always aware of what he was going to be doing. So, like, I would hit somebody across the stage, and then I would check, like, does Beach need help? Yeah, he needs help. Okay, I'll go over there. And then we'll like kill that guy because like I switched the targets. So now I have to go over and finish my food that I was playing with earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be
I
an
don't have to do
interesting.
that when I have a Steven on my team.
Yep, you don't need to do that at all. And like, also as you guys talk and you hopefully like get on the same page about when to take risks and stuff, like even Steven, like who's pretty good at it now, will get even better at it. I think. Because like versus these guys, it didn't matter much. But you guys play like PewFat or something like. You actually can't afford to like make those mistakes, you know?
Right.
But I definitely think essentially at the top level, it's pretty easy to play doubles in a way that normalizes skill level. Like, it's just so easy to not take big risks and then just not get outplayed. Which is why if you watch like DJ and G and Moon and stuff, like they tend to do well even when they're like they'll lose versus better teams, but like not easily, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you watch DJ and G fight a team way better than them, it's like, man, it's taken a while for them to kill them. It's like, well, yeah, they're just sitting there not doing anything. And it's like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. It's funny. We actually, Steven and I played DJ and G Money at that tournament.
How was that set?
I can't recall. I feel like we beat them pretty badly, but I can't remember.
I will say Fox Falco is probably one of the best teams at just like running over the other team and not letting them do their thing.
That is true. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Well, good talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Fun to talk about teams. Good luck with net play. Think about the Falcon on shield stuff for sure.